So this is a straight up solve with the assistance of technology. Uh, I know that you're just kind of playing along here, but it's definitely worth writing this down. That the log of base B, argument A, oops, can be rewritten as ln of A over ln of B. And so I need that. All right, I need that. So I'm going to look at this log up here that I have, that little guy right there. Notice there's also that plus 2. What I'm going to place in y1 in my calculator is going to be ln. The argument is 3x minus 1. It's sitting over the ln of 3. And then don't forget the plus 2. What I'm going to put in y2, and again, I'm going to be looking over here. So I'm looking at this guy right here. I have a log base 5 whose argument is x plus 3. Sitting pretty over ln 5. And then it says take away 5. If you don't like the ln key, you can do logs. It's really up to you. They're both change of base. You just pick your poison here. So pick either one. But it says solve with the assistance of technology, which means you get to graph. Because that's probably the only technique I've taught you how to do on a problem like that. These can be done by hand, but they're pretty rough to do. And doing one of those by hand would be beyond the scope of this class. So I'm not asking you to do it. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my calculator. Well, this is just wrong. Where's my calculator at? There she is. So again, I'm just typing it down. Pushing the buttons. If I was your age, of course, our teacher didn't teach us how to do these things on a calculator. But if I was your age, sitting in my math class, and this problem was in front of me, this is what I'd be doing. 100% what I'd be doing. I do wish I could make this little keypad not be so big. The alternative is the TI-84 version that works on a PC, which takes up the entire screen, and it looks different than the keypads y'all use. So I'll just use this little free version I found. It's called CMU. Works on a PC. Should work on your phones too. And I believe that's everything I need. Anyways, we do a zoom 6. And I'm pretty clear in the text. It says the calculator won't show that they intersect. Like, it does not look like there's an intersection, does there? Calculators don't have the pixels to finish the drawing where it falls to negative infinity. It's just an issue they've had, and they've never fixed it. Second trace 5, and I'm just going to press. I think you actually have to get your cursor on one of the functions, so it's blinking, and then enter, enter, enter. There she is. We go to the fourth decimal place on logarithms, 0.3337. So they intersect at x equals 0.3337. If I read that right, it's pretty early. 0.33. Yep, we're good. So even though it doesn't have the pixels to draw it, it'll still find an answer if you're willing to get your cursor on that logarithm. All right, solve the exponential equation 3 to the 4x minus 1 equals 1/27th to the 5x plus 2. Only fractional answers are accepted for full credit. Answers from using y1, y2 earn half credit. So let's go over y1, y2. Because here's the reality of it. A lot of you will have to do y1, y2 because you just don't have the number sets. Plain and simple. You don't have it. So let's do y1, y2, and then I'll go back and do it by hand. And it is a half credit situation. It's not a full credit situation. It is my hopes that when you guys take your end of course test that you at least know how to do some stuff in a calculator. Unless I'm typing in 1/27th. You can also use the math num frac thing. It's really up to you. There's lots of ways of doing things correctly. Lots of ways of doing things wrong too. Anyways, Zoom 6. Oh, that's nice. Intersection was right down there. Second trace 5. Get close, enter 3 times. And from the calculator, it's about 0.2632. All right, so let's do this by hand. So again, by hand is full credit. That's the actual ultimate goal of this class. The goal is not to be a button pusher. I do need to have a board that's working so I can type. Technical difficulties. Wonder why I'm having technical difficulties here. Try this now. There we go. So, full credit. What we're going to do is we're going to leave I know, and again, I know, and that's a big part of it. 27 is a power of 3. So when I look at 1 over 27, I see 1 over 3 cubed. And we have the rule about exponents. That's 3 to the negative third power. By all means, push buttons to figure this out. 3 to the negative 3, I already have the exponential space, 5x plus 2. So 3 to the 4x minus 1. Sorry. Now, what we have is we have a theorem that says x to the a equals x to the b. A equals b, so I can chunk these bases out the window. All that matters is the exponents. Once you get the bases the same, I'm going to do the distributive property. And then I'm going to shift my x's around. I'd have 4x plus 15x on one side. And the other side is going to be negative 6 plus 1. So that's going to be 19x equals negative 5. So x is negative 5/19. Now, are those the same? Yes, but this one is not rounded. I rounded that answer. I rounded whatever the y1, y2 told me, but they are the same. See, the negative 5/19 contains a lot more than your graphing calculator is going to show you. And by the way, this would even be rounded. That's the answer, negative 5/19. So there you go. There's how you do it by hand. It's actually not a hard problem to do by hand. It's just like y'all stink at this. I don't know. 16 is evaluate. And again, it's worth writing things down. You know, it is definitely, again, I'll write this down for you again. It is worth writing that a log of base B, argument A, is equal to the ln of A over the ln of B, or the log of A over the log of B. So when I look at log base 12 of 7, and again, that's how I read this. I read log base 12, argument 7. That's how it's read. Argument is 7, sitting pretty over the base of 12. Or, I like logs, log of 7, sitting pretty over log of 12. Doesn't matter. But it does say evaluate, so I'm looking for a decimal here. ln 7 over ln 12 is that. The other one is log 7 over log 12, and they're going to be the same thing. By all means, push some buttons at home. 0.7831. So it's about 0.7381. Remember, we always go fourth decimal. Always. Last one. Kids give the craziest things. Like, see this where it says, don't be that kid that gives an answer that is more than the total value of the car. Oh. You are purchasing your first car. To purchase a car, you will need to borrow $25,000. The terms of your loan are 5.9% interest compounded monthly for 5 years. You should definitely write down the formula. You should write the formula. Formula is pretty simple. It says the amount after time is the principal times 1 plus r over n. And the exponent here is the nt. So let's throw some stuff in here. If I scan the text, it looks like I need to borrow $25,000. That's the principal. R is 0.059 because we moved the decimal 2 places. Time is 5 years. And it says compounded monthly. Tells me that n is 12 because there are 12 months in a year. So it's a 5-year loan. See a T is 5. Principal is 25,000. 1 plus 0.059 sitting pretty over 12. And the exponential space is going to be the product of 12 and 5 because it's NT. And then I push buttons. Seriously, that's what I do. I push buttons. It's not hard. So I take my 25,000. 1 plus 0.059. Close, rooftop. And if I don't know what 12 times 5 is, it ain't no problem. The TI-84 can do it. Oh, I screwed up, didn't I? Let me redo that. Did you guys notice what I did? It shouldn't be that big. That's way too much money. That's way too much money. Forgot to put that divided by 12 in there. It might double, but I wasn't expecting it to do that. All right, $33,553.90 actually, 90 cents. 896.90. 3353.90. The amount owed in 5 years is 3353.90. My short-term memory. 553.90. Determine your monthly payment. There's lots of ways of doing this, but here's the deal. It is a 5-year loan. there are 60 months. Now, 5 times 12 is 60. So it's a 60-month loan. After 60 months, you owe $33,553.90. So your monthly payment's pretty simple. You just take your 33,553.90 and divide it by 60. That's all you do. So I'm going to hit divided by 60. And I'm going to get this, 559.23. Sadly, boys and girls, when you borrow money, you have to pay it back. And it's not cheap to pay it back. Borrowing $25,000 cost you a little over 8. And that's the issue with borrowing money. The people you borrow money from, they want a return on their investment. So that's why it costs money. Anyways, that is Twin 2.